little pressure's on us. We're breaking out our bathing suits. The rendezvous upon us. They'll come from Alabama, they'll come from LA, all across the country, they come here to play. Let's rendezvous tonight, show off our Caribbean soul. Let's rendezvous tonight, Parrot heads on the roll. Let's rendezvous tonight, 'cause we're out of control. A little different every year to keep it fresh and new. Fresh and new. We'll have a visit from old Brent Burns. He'll sing about the rendezvous. It kicks off the spring, it kicks off the fun. It's so nice to be back out in the sun. Let's rendezvous tonight, a little Caribbean soul. Let's rendezvous tonight, Parrot heads on a roll. Let's rendezvous tonight, you know we're out of control. Just when it finally starts, it seems it has to end. We get a new t-shirt to wear, but pass that aspirin again. We'll clean up our mess and it's all volunteer. Give some money to kids and I'll see you next year. Let's rendezvous tonight, show off our Caribbean soul. Let's rendezvous tonight, Parrot heads on a roll. Let's rendezvous tonight, you know we're out of control. Let's rendezvous tonight, Parrot heads on a roll. Let's rendezvous tonight, show off our Caribbean soul. Let's rendezvous tonight, Parrot heads on a roll. Let's rendezvous tonight.
In 2013-2014, I went down to the Panama City Parrot Head Rendezvous. And like most people that go to the Panama City Parrot Head Rendezvous for the very first time, they're like, wow, where have all these people been all my life? If you're a parrot head, I always like to say it's not what you do, but it's who you are. And partying with a purpose is what it's all about. Raising money for charities and having a lot of fun. Sometimes I think parrot heads have forgotten that. You know, there's a lot of drama that goes on in some of the parrot head clubs around the world. But when you go down to Panama City, that's what it's all about. It's about partying with a purpose and having a good time. When I went down for the very first time, it was at the Barefoot Club, a little further down than where it is right now, just out back of Sharky's. The Panama City Parrot Head Rendezvous started in 2005 at the Buccaneer Beach Hotel over on the bay. And since then it has grown and grown and grown and got bigger every year. Little did I know when I went down for the first time that it would turn into a 5-year journey with Tiki Man Radio, a broadcasting right on the beach outside of Sharky's and the Barefoot Club. And boy, what a time we have had. Raising money, hanging with all of our friends, partying with a purpose. That's what it's all about. The first year that I went down to Panama City and broadcast was back in the Tiki Island radio days, and I took my young son, Brad, with me. Bahama Brad, as we called him on the radio. It was kind of a father and son type broadcast, and that's something we'll probably always remember, the time that we broadcast the Panama City Parrot Head Rendezvous. It was a lot of fun, he had a lot of fun, and the show was a great success. Bill Lanier was the president then, and he did everything humanly possible to make us feel comfortable. We were in the back of the Barefoot Club. Bill's no longer with us now, but I'll always remember what he did for us. The Conch Republic Band was there that year. We had a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. Talking about music and radio. Right there in the Barefoot Club. Jack Mosley was there. Jack played the very first Parrot Head Rendezvous back in 2005. And it's also the year that I got to meet the Barefoot Man himself from the Cayman Islands. A highlight of my career for sure. And to this day, it is still the only artist that I have a signed autograph from, hanging right here in the chocolate bar. John Frenzy was there that year. He was in rare form, no doubt about it. We also made some very special friends that are no longer with us as well. Steve Hopper was there that year. And of course, Jeff Brewer. The Sauce Boss was in rare form that night as well on the stage, and of course everybody, including myself, got up there and stirred the gumbo. There's some girls that came down from the north and hung out with us, and they ended up coming back every year that we was there. Brad also got to eat his very first oyster in Panama City. The next year we moved up the beach out back of Sharky's, and the party began.
We'll put our flowered shirts on at the drop of a funny-looking hat. Form a Congo line. Any old time we hear the sound of a Caribbean band. We gather together, fun being our pleasure, the beach our favorite habitat. People see us coming, I know they're wondering, who the hell is that? It's a Parrot Head Rendezvous. Party with a purpose, yeah, that's what we do. Celebrate the beach life, listening to our favorite guys singing their tropical tunes. Ooh, that's a Parrot Head Rendezvous. Florida, Arizona, even California, I flock with some of the best. Down Louisiana, Gulf Shores, Alabama, it's hard to beat that crew in Key West. Beach boys and girls from around the world gathering with to manifest. When we're raising money for somebody's buddy, that's when we're the happiest. It's a Parrot Head Rendezvous. Party with a purpose, yeah, that's what we do. Celebrate the beach life, listening to our favorite guys singing their tropical tunes. people say I'm pretty good when I write and sing, but I admit I found Lord, 'cause Jimmy's still the king. It's a parrot at a rendezvous, party with a purpose, yeah, that's what we do. Celebrate the beach life, listening to our favorite guys singing their tropical tunes. That's a parrot at a rendezvous.
The next year we went down, I brought a whole crew with Tiki Island Radio. Sunshine, Johnny B, my son Brad, Bahama Brad. We had a good time. That's also where I met my good friend, meteorologist Doug. As a matter of fact, he became a meteorologist that day. We call him Big Sexy. And I gotta tell you, we've had a lot of fun in Panama City. But as things got bigger and bigger with the Panama City Rendezvous, so did we. We moved closer and closer to the beach. And we got to where we could have a tent and we could put everything we needed. We had t-shirts, and things just become bigger and bigger for us. But the main thing was that we could get the word out about the Panama City Rendezvous and the charities that they support. Party with a purpose. That's what it's all about. You know, I don't think there's enough words really to mention how many friends I've made along the way in radio and how many of those came out of Panama City. All the good times we've had, all the people that we met along the way, all the sunsets we got to see. The Panama City Parrot Head Club will always hold a special dear place in my heart because it was really a beginning of radio for me, and it progressed into Tiki Man Radio as we went along. And just like that, another year had come and gone. 2017 rolled around, and it was time to head back to Panama City. This time, even bigger and better. Tiki Man Radio had come about, and it was time to take it on the road.
Coffee cup, no time to lie around in bed. A big show gonna hit the road, another great weekend ahead. Headed down Key West bound, gonna rendezvous with all my friends. Palm trees, Gulf breeze, and white sandy beaches that don't ever end. All hands on deck. Crank it up, let's get this party started now. We'll land you drown your neck. Hey, Parrot heads, let's get this flocking started now. All hands on deck. Raise your glass and share a team drink with me. Let's get shipwrecked and stay here by the ocean. You know I never wanna leave. Locks, you got trop rock, gonna put you in a tropical state. Steel pans and island bands, just let the music take you away. So rendezvous with all the crew, everybody dance in the sand. Let's man the rail, it's time to set sail. You know you're in the heart of Parrot Headland. All hands on deck. Crank it up, let's get this party started now. Let's land you drown your neck. Hey, Parrot heads, let's get this party started now. All hands on deck. Raise your glass and share a team drink with me. Let's get shipwrecked and stay here by the ocean. You know I never wanna leave. All hands on deck. Let's crank it up now. Come on, everybody. Then you drown your neck. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get this party started now. All hands on deck. Yeah. Then you drown your neck. All right. Let's take it home. Let's have that team drink tonight.
2018, it was time to head back to Panama City for the License to Chill, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And it was the very first year that we brought the hippie chick along for the ride. It was also the year that Panama City Parrothead Rendezvous had gotten so big that they decided they needed all the radio stations to come down and broadcast it. You see, up to that point, Tiki Man Radio and Tiki Island Radio were the only radio stations that had ever broadcasted the Rendezvous for all 4 days. And now, everybody wanted in on the action. Now don't get me wrong, I like working with my fellow broadcasters. And I thought it would be kind of cool to have everybody there. After all, it's not easy broadcasting on the beach for 4 straight days. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's a lot of work. You got to bury the lines in the sand, you got to run all the cables, everything has to work just right. So I knew that it wasn't going to be easy for everybody else because I had already been there. But this particular year, we were closer to the stage than we ever had been before. So I did get first dibs with the other radio stations because we had done our time, which I thought was really cool. But this year, we were the closest to the stage we had ever been, and it was fantastic. It was also the year that Verona Corona came down from Canada and hung out with us at the Panama City Parrothead Rendezvous, which was really cool. I still think she should have won the award for the person that came the furthest. See, the Panama City Rendezvous does that every year. They give an award for the person that traveled the furthest away. I still think Verona Corona should have got that award. But she didn't. Someone in California did. Girls Inc. also became one of the charities for the Panama City Parrot Rendezvous, and I really enjoyed working with those girls there. Their slogan, of course, is helping girls be strong, smart, and bold. I enjoyed it so much that when I came back to Chattanooga, I tried to get my local Parrothead Club to also sponsor Girls Inc. You know, the Panama City Parrothead Rendezvous has raised over $350,000 over 14 years. $350,000, that's amazing. I sometimes think that the Panama City Parrothead Rendezvous doesn't get the credit that it deserves. I mean, there are other festivals out there, there's no doubt, but there's a lot of uniqueness to this event. First of all, it's right on the beach. A few years ago, we took the stage that normally pointed towards the hotels, and now it points down the beach. So no matter which seat you have, you're always looking to the beach. And if you're up on stage, it's a beautiful sight. But I guess for me, hanging out with all of our friends, seeing people that we haven't seen in a long time, being on that white sand on a beautiful sunshiny day is just heaven to me. It's become a big part of our life here at Tiki Man Radio, going down every year. And it takes a full crew of people to do this show for 4 days. There's no way I could do it by myself. And in the early years when we were doing it at the Barefoot Club, you gotta remember we were in the very back of the Barefoot Club, which is no longer there. It's a whole different restaurant now. But now, when we moved to the beach and got closer and closer to the stage, then it became where we had to have a whole crew of volunteers to help us out. Needless to say, I always had people willing to raise their hand to come and do radio with us in Panama City. When 2019 rolled around, it was time to once again head back to Panama City for our 5th year. And we had a whole new crew. This is the year that B-Dog and Lou came down. We had Sunshine and Doug, of course. Latitude Elena made her debut with the hippie chick. Chef Marcus was there. It was a beautiful time. And I got to tell you something. This was our biggest and best year yet. Not only were we right next to the stage, but we had 2 tents. We brought lights. We had a great sound man. That's one of the things over the years, you know, when you go and do these big festivals, you got to make sure that you got great sound. And having a great sound man is very, very important to make the whole thing successful. In 2019, everything was perfect. And if we ever do go back and do the Rendezvous again, that's exactly the way I want it. I need 2 tents right next to the stage so I can light everything up at night and we can have a blast. Our good buddy Danny Rosado made his debut at the Panama City Rendezvous for the first time playing. Danny Hoy came up from Key West and hung out with us as well. It was a great time. Yes, 2019 was our biggest and best year yet. And we were looking forward to 2020. And of course, we all know what happened. The pandemic happened, and the beaches were empty, closed down. The Rendezvous was canceled in 2020, and then again in 2021. There's a lot of talk about the Rendezvous, whether or not to bring it back. But you know, all that money that the Panama City Parrot Head Club has raised over the years has shown that it's important. And the powers that be that are in charge of the Panama City Rendezvous need to remember that. But I hope we'll be back. And I hope Tiki Man Radio will be there as well.